There are people whose presence you feel before they ever speak, a softness that ripples through the air around them, something wordless, but deeply magnetic. It's not charisma in the loud, theatrical sense, it's something quieter, subtler, a kind of calm gravity. Psychologists call it nonverbal resonance, the unconscious synchronization between two people's emotional states. You can sense calm when someone embodies it. You can feel warmth before a single word passes between you. An attractive woman in this sense doesn't demand attention. She receives it. The energy she carries tells others how to feel around her. She doesn't need to move quickly, speak loudly, or perform beauty. Her stillness is what stands out. Because in a world addicted to noise, stillness has become the rarest luxury. The language beneath words, every gesture speaks. Psychologists have long known that more than 70% of communication is nonverbal, micro-expressions, posture, gaze, tone. When someone's body and energy are aligned, they emit coherence, a felt sense of authenticity. You've probably met someone who smiled, but their eyes said otherwise. That split between words and emotion creates tension. But when someone's inner state and outer presence are synchronized, the mind of another person recognizes it as truth. That's what makes certain women quietly captivating. They are congruent. The calm in their voice matches the peace in their eyes. The openness in their posture mirrors the kindness in their tone. The subconscious reads that alignment as safety. People are drawn not to perfection, but to coherence, the energy of safety attraction. In its most primal sense is the nervous system seeking safety. Before beauty, before intellect, before compatibility, the body asks, "Am I safe near this person?" A woman who has made peace with herself transmits safety. She doesn't compete with the energy in the room. She balances it. She listens without rushing to respond. She pauses before she speaks. Her silence doesn't demand to be filled, it invites reflection. Psychologists studying attachment theory often note that emotionally secure people elicit calm in others. Their stability becomes a signal of trust. In the same way, an attractive woman's quiet confidence tells others' nervous systems, "You can relax here." And when the body relaxes, the mind opens. Attraction deepens. Authenticity as magnetism. We are evolutionarily wired to detect insincerity. The human brain, through a region called the amygdala, instantly assesses emotional congruence, whether someone's tone, eyes, and expression match. False confidence and forced charm create dissonance. That's why the woman who's simply herself, without disguise or performance, is the one people remember. She doesn't over-explain. She doesn't rush to impress. Her self-worth is not placed in the hands of strangers. Her authenticity becomes magnetic because it's rare. In a culture obsessed with appearances, she radiates comfort in her being. You can feel it in her gestures, unhurried, graceful without trying. In her smile, not practiced, not strategic, but genuine. It's not just beauty that draws others in. It's the absence of pretense, the paradox of calm power. She may not speak often, but when she does, people listen. She may not command attention, but attention naturally finds her. Calm power is paradoxical. The less you grasp for control, the more influence you hold. The human psyche recognizes it as authority without domination, strength without hardness. Psychologists studying social presence describe it as gravitational energy, an invisible field that forms when someone is fully present. Their awareness fills the room. They're not lost in self-consciousness or performance. They are here entirely. This is the first sign of true attractiveness, not the way she looks, but the way she exists. Her unspoken energy speaks louder than any words, the invisible glow. There's a certain glow that doesn't come from makeup or lighting. It comes from self-regulation, a nervous system at peace. When she's grounded, her face softens, her movements slow, her voice steadies. The body mirrors the mind's serenity. People call it aura, vibe, presence. Science calls it coherence. Spirit calls it alignment. And in that alignment, beauty transcends appearance, because real attraction isn't a performance and it's a frequency. You don't try to project it. You become it, and when you do, the world doesn't just see you, it feels you. Confidence is not volume, it's not the bold laughter that fills the room, nor the curated certainty of someone who always has an answer ready. Confidence, true confidence, is quieter. It hums beneath the surface, steady and self-contained. There's something magnetic about a woman who moves as though she doesn't need to prove anything, not because she's unaware of her worth, but because she has already made peace with it. Psychologists call this self-acceptance-based confidence, a form of assurance not built on comparison or validation, but on a deep, internal knowing. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't shout to be noticed, because it's already at home in its own skin. The myth of loud confident society often sells a narrow picture of confidence. Bold, assertive, unshakably certain, but human psychology tells a different story. Research shows that people who exude quiet confidence often score higher in self-esteem and emotional intelligence than those who constantly assert themselves. Why? Because real confidence doesn't need witnesses. When a woman is secure in who she is, she no longer needs the applause. She doesn't perform identity, she embodies it. And that embodiment creates a paradox. The less she tries to appear confident, the more confident she becomes. This paradox is what makes her attractive. She doesn't demand validation. She radiates wholeness. The psychology of inner stability. The roots of this quiet power lie deep in the psyche. Confidence, at its core, is emotional predictability, knowing that no matter what happens, you can regulate yourself through it. It's not "I'm better than others," it's "I'll be okay, even if things don't go my way." That inner stability is irresistibly attractive because it communicates reliability. People can feel when someone is emotionally anchored. It's sensed in the way she holds eye contact, the softness in her responses, the calmness in her movements, the subtle language of self-belief. She doesn't interrupt to prove her point. She doesn't shrink to appear agreeable. She speaks slowly, thoughtfully, like someone who has learned that silence too is a form of presence. Her confidence doesn't live in grand gestures. It lives in restraint, in how she allows pauses to stretch without panic, in how she listens, truly listens without rehearsing her reply. Every behavior becomes a quiet declaration. I am enough. And it's that declaration, not through words, but through energy, that makes others lean closer, because human attraction often stems from a simple psychological response. We are drawn to those who seem at peace with themselves. The difference between confidence and control. There's a fine line between confidence and control. Control says, I must manage everything to feel safe. Confidence says, even if I can't control it, I'll stay centered. Attractive women often embody this difference instinctively. They don't chase certainty. They move with adaptability. Their confidence is elastic, flexible enough to bend, strong enough to not break. This elasticity is what psychologists refer to as resilient self-concept, the ability to maintain identity and self-worth even under pressure. It's the energy of someone who knows, I can lose something, and I'll still be whole. That wholeness is magnetic, because wholeness feels like safety, and safety, more than beauty, status, or perfection, is what the human heart finds irresistible. Confidence without comparison. She doesn't compete, not because she lacks ambition, but because her definition of success is inward. Modern psychology explains that people who are intrinsically motivated, driven by personal growth rather than external validation, exhibit higher levels of satisfaction and lower anxiety. Their happiness isn't borrowed, it's self-generated. You can sense it when she walks into a room. She's not scanning for approval. She's simply present, not above others, just rooted in herself. And that rootedness changes the atmosphere. It whispers to those watching. There's nothing to prove here. That whisper is the essence of attraction. Unforced, unperformed, unwavering. The quietest form of power, true confidence, is often invisible. It shows up in how she treats people who cannot give her anything, in how she forgives without weakness, and speaks truth without cruelty. It's an invisible crown, unspoken but unmistakable, because confidence isn't about being noticed. It's about being remembered, not for her noise, but for her peace. And that peace and that quiet, inner steadiness, is what lingers in people's minds long after she's gone. It's the paradox of her power. The less she tries to be seen, the more she's impossible to forget. There is a kind of beauty that doesn't come from the face. It comes from understanding, from the way someone listens, really listens, without waiting for their turn to speak, from the way they read the silence between words, the tremor in a sentence, the hesitation in a breath. It's the kind of beauty that doesn't fade, because it's not built on aesthetics, it's built on empathy. An emotionally intelligent woman doesn't just connect through language, she connects through presence. People feel seen in her company, heard, understood. That's the third sign, depth. Not in what she knows, but in how she perceives, because attraction at its deepest level is the meeting of emotional frequencies, the quiet recognition that someone feels life the way you do.